Hello everyone, this is Movie Recap. Today we are going to introduce Catwoman. It is a science fiction movie with a superhero theme. As the saying goes, cats have a spiritual nature. And their lives have 9 lives, but people only get one. Cats are submissive but aggressive, elegant but also cruel. This is the cat, and this is also the woman. Let's take a look together. The Catwoman in this movie, what is it like? Barry is a designer for a makeup company. Her dream was to become an artist. But the pressure of life. She had to choose to work as a graphic designer finally. George and his wife, Sharon. They founded the company together. A few days later, new cosmetics will be released. At that time, a new era of femininity would begin. When his wife saw that her husband was planning to bring in another spokesperson, she felt a little upset. After the meeting, Barry was called into the office. George not only expressed his dissatisfaction, but also verbally insulted Barry. He thinks Barry is a woman bad taste. Whether it is the style of dressing, or her own dress. But with his wife's persuasion, Barry was not dismissed. At 3 o'clock that night, Barry could not sleep because of the noise of the neighbors. She could only look at the noisy crowd helplessly. Then a cat downstairs caught Barry's attention. When she closed the window, the cat had long disappeared. The next day, she was making an oil painting at home. The cat that appeared last night came to the door again. The kitten climbed onto the house. Barry didn't know why she had the courage to save a stray cat. The police arrived downstairs and thought Barry was trying to commit suicide. At the critical moment, the police kicked open the door of the house and successfully saved her at the moment she fell. As she was late for work, Barry did not even know his name, and rushed to the office. The police officer looked at her dropped purse and also looked at this girl. At the office, Sharon found that all the photos in the lobby had been turned into new models. Her husband sarcastically tells her that time is the natural enemy of all women. No one can guarantee her beauty forever. This is also in consideration of the subsequent publicity. Barry has just arrived at the company. The policeman, the hero of the movie, just found her. Tom is a police officer of the criminal police force. He gave Barry her wallet. The two of them also had a very good conversation, and they agreed to meet tomorrow. At night, after Barry finished revising the design, it was already 11 o'clock at night. She came to the production line with these files. Absolutely unexpected. She was surprised to see something she shouldn't have seen. It turned out that the company's products had a long history of defects. If you want to get the price of beauty, the price of beauty is more serious trauma. Only if the consumer keeps on using it, it won't get worse and worse. Barry tried to explain, but someone intends to kill her. Barry kept running away, and finally entered the company's drainage outlet. The turbulent current also washed her to the sea. In the last moment of her life, she saw the gray cat. Then she died completely. As the gray cat cried out, dozens of cats also rushed over. They surrounded Barry, and the gray cat slowly crawled to Barry's body. It looked at Barry's wide-open eyes. Then, something magical happened. Barry actually miraculously revived. What's more amazing is that her sense of hearing and touching were strengthened. The next day, after waking up, Barry seemed to have forgotten what happened last night. And the gray cat also reappeared in the home. She found the owner according to the cat's collar. Her house was full of cats. The owner of the cat told her that the gray cat was called Midnight, and was a guardian of the Egyptian pantheon. When she threw out a catnip, Barry's acted like a cat in an instant. She was frightened, and simply left the place. George reprimanded Barry in front of the design department. And Barry has 2 personalities right now. One is full of courage and confidence, and the other is the original cowardly and sensitive. This day she cursed his boss, but it was applauded by the colleagues. On the other hand, Sharon looked at these photos, and then looked out the window to her husband. Sharon crushed the glass in her hand. Barry found Tom, apologized for the previous breach of contract. She also gave him a doodled cup. That night, the neighbor is having another party. She made the rules in front of everyone. The aura she showed frightened everyone here. When Barry returned home, she cut her long hair, put on lipstick and eyeliner, and got on her motorcycle, flew down the road in a crowded traffic. A jewelry store was confronted by a gang of robbers. Two men armed with guns. They attacked the strange woman directly. Barry's speed and agility made their pistols useless. Barry's counterattack was cat-like, soft with a touch of laziness. With a very fast speed, she solved these robbers. The next day, the police found the robbers, and the bag containing the jewels, with the signature written on it. Awakened Barry began to consult the gray cat's records. That the cat named Midnight was found that it existed in different ages. She went back to the cat owner's house with her suspicions. It turns out that it was all a test. Midnight found Barry and began to test her, to determine whether Barry can inherit the gift. And in every era, there is an outstanding cat lady. They are the symbol of women's rights. They are also the heroes of the night. Catwoman has extreme self-confidence and very independent. They have extraordinary, instinctive reactions. That's why Barry, after being resurrected, all 6 senses have been enhanced. At night, Barry looked at the helmets of the generations of Catwoman with Midnight companion. Then, she made a decision. She put on her helmet and put on a black leather jacket, and began to go over all corners of the city. The mission to punish evil, also from this man, through the 6 senses of the subconscious. Awakened, the memory of that night disappeared. Then she found the employee who shot her in the bar. After solving this guy, Catwoman went back to the company's production line. The man who opposed the launch of the new product was killed. At the same time, she accidentally exposed herself. The next day, Barry arrives at the hospital to visit friend, and her best friend is shocked by her appearance. Catwoman's murder was shown on TV. George claims to the public that, no matter what Catwoman does, the conference will still be held as usual. On the other hand, Tom looks at the mug Barry gave him, arranged the tech department to analyze the 2 signatures on the paper bag and the mug. The result is that the handwriting looks the same, but the personalities are very different. Unless the person is multiple personalities, it must be 2 people. Catwoman sneaks into Sharon's house to get more information. She also put all the blame on her husband. Finally, Barry found George. Before the questions were finished, the police arrived at the scene. Catwoman can only temporarily escape from the show. The next day, George looked at the scars on his face. He took his anger on his wife. To his surprise, Sharon not only did not hurt by his slap, instead, his palm seemed to hit the iron. Through this period of time, Barry and Tom gradually began to fall in love. In this night, Tom found the cat's nails on the carpet. He was sad and left quietly. After Tom left, Barry also came to Sharon's house. Sharon puts on a bitter meat trick directly. She killed her husband in advance, then threw the pistol to Catwoman. When the alarm system was turned on, the murderer became Catwoman. At the same time, Tom announced the fact that Barry is the Catwoman on screen. Barry did not choose to run away. In the face of Barry's confession, Tom did not believe it at all. As a police officer, he cannot be emotional. So, Barry was put in jail. Tom looked around the clues and start thinking about the conversation just now. At night, the cat named Midnight found Barry. She suddenly realized that, since she chose to become a Catwoman, she has to accept this identity. Sometimes rules are meant to be broken. Barry steps into the cell with 1 foot. Soft body, just like a cat. She crossed the prison with ease, and donned her battle dress and chained up all the transport department vans. When the van was started, the first batch of cosmetics could not be sent to the pre-sale point either. On the other hand, Tom found Sharon through fraudulent means. Success made the cunning Sharon tell the truth. However, Sharon draws his gun a step faster than Tom. In the nick of time, Catwoman rushes over and uses her whip to save Tom. They escape to the top floor of the company, and engaged in a fight with the enemy. The 2 women also began to fight. Catwoman didn't expect Sharon to be in such good physical condition. This woman is like no pain and won't get hurt. At the end of the film, Catwoman uses her whip to turn the situation around. When Sharon saw his injured cheek, she fell straight from the rooftop. She thus ended her tragic life in her 40 years old. Tom has never seen Barry since then. Because she is no longer Barry, but the Catwoman in the night. This unfettered, fearless life. It is her new journey. The film's overall plot is honestly average. Especially in the second half. There are no villains in the movie. And Catwoman's character Halle Berry. In addition to this identity, she is also the Storm Girl in X-Men. If you like to hear my stories, please follow and subscribe. We'll see you next time.